What happens if you get banned from a community? How should you handle that?
This is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
Cathy from the IntimacyDojo.com.
That would be really hard, and it's hard to balance that, balance running events and community where you want people to have you want to have people reporting if things are not going, consent is not being followed, and often those people don't want to have their names used or the specifics of an event used when talking to someone, with the ability for the other person to reply, and it could have been misunderstanding, it could have been there's a lot of things that could have happened or taken out of context. So balancing that is a challenge.
So this opens up a whole rat's nest of interesting things to talk about.
And we often talk about rat's nest.
We do. So in play party community, in non-sexual community as well, there's a difference. So in my opinion, it's all my opinion, you should design community and community events ideally to be self-cleaning ovens, in that you are creating rules and protocols for everybody's benefit and creating a way for the community to get better at using those protocols and those communication skills, so that you as the organizer are not the judge and jury of every upset. And you can design this into community depending how you want to do it. How do you help somebody who has felt violated, who has a complaint, feel safe enough to come forward so that you know what's going on in the community?
Yeah.
And oftentimes when somebody complains about somebody, to keep them safe and have their privacy, and this now you can research social justice and rape culture dynamics and how do you, how if somebody's got a complaint or something that happened to them, how do you keep their privacy when you go to the person and say, hey, we've had this complaint, and they're like, well, who complained? And you're like, we can't tell you because
what did they say I did?
We need to keep people's privacy. And they're like, well, what did they say that I did? And I'm like, I can't tell you because if I told you,
then
you would know who it is.
Okay.
So that's part of the challenge. The other thing is, how do you train your community so that they could handle being banned gracefully? Which, if you can figure out how to do that and help people feel safe and help people feel safe in getting their own resolution on things with community support, what you have now done is you are creating a community that can handle in grown-up ways. Doesn't mean they don't feel hurt or upset, but they can handle their own emotions and still show up. So for me, if I got banned from some event, I have the tools to be like, okay, how do I help? How do I help ban myself and restore whatever justice or whatever needs to happen? Like, tell me. Now, I'm doing that because I know that that's the fastest way for me to get back into that community. And that's a really high level of ninja jujitsu, rather than being offended that I can't talk to the person who accused me because I'm somehow demanding or do a certain amount of due process. So you have to teach your community how to handle being asked to leave in a way that actually strengthens the community. And you can geek out on restorative justice and techniques like that. A lot of communities haven't gotten to that place yet because everyone's just hoping bad stuff doesn't happen. And then when bad stuff happens, everyone's freaking out about it. And so no one ever gets to the next place.
Well, I think there's also, like, it's a tough balance because it is hard for people to bring stuff forward, and we absolutely want people to bring stuff forward. But I listen all the time to women complain about going to bars, for instance. And they talk about how these guys are just assholes and hitting on them and doing all these stupid things. And I'm like, have you ever told them what you object to? Well, no, they should just know. So there's a cycle of the guys repeating what they don't know, and they're offending these, and this is, I'm using a gender example, but if we can give feedback, if we can feel safe enough, if we can create a place where people can give feedback, people often upgrade their behaviors. But if we're not giving that, it's really hard to do that. So it's a balancing act, and it's really challenging.
So do your due diligence and vet the communities you want to become a part of as well. Ask them what their banning procedures are, how they process that kind of situation. If you're not okay with the way that they do it, then you should take that into strong consideration, because you may be the one who gets banned. And figure that one out. Now, in sex positive community, that usually means for the men. Mm-hmm. It's usually for the socially awkward men. And so there's that. But I've seen women get banned out of community, and I've seen communities do community development poorly. Mm-hmm. So, and there are some communities that are doing it really well and coming up with the next version, the 2.0 version of community, and teach your community how to have really good consent protocols, mm-hmm. how to handle their own emotions and speak up as best they can, how to handle if they're asked to leave, and what are the restorative steps that happen after, and train your community in that. And it's not always going to go perfect, because you're dealing with human beings. And when you have communities where new people come in, they're going to go through their learning curve mistakes. So you're going to have that happening all the time. Yeah. And hopefully the alumni, the varsity members of your community, will have more resources to help the clunky newbies get up to speed, while also vetting and discouraging truly bad or like evil, under the surface cloaked behavior.
Yes. We'd love to know what you think. Where do you think you would want to draw the line in your community?
Leave some comments.
Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to my social media, it's right there. And please subscribe to this channel there. If you'd like to see more goofy Reid and Cathy, there's more videos there.
See them. Why are they there?